والله يدعو إلى دار السلام ويهدي من يشاء إلى صراط مستقيم.
اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to Hajj Step by Step. If you've been tuning into our program, you followed along with us through a complete Umrah, and now we're ready to move on to a very important stage of Hajj. We're at the 8th day of Dhul Hijjah. I'm Musa Maguire, your host, and with us is Sheikh Muhammad Salah as our guide for Hajj. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Well, Sheikh, we've gone through the Ihram, we've gone through a Tawaf, we've gone through Sa'i and Tahallul, if it's appropriate, depending on the kind of Hajj that you've chosen. But now we've reached the 8th day. What is significant about this 8th day? What is it known as, and what does it mark?
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Praise be to Allah, we praise Him and we seek His help. Whomsoever Allah guides is the truly guided one, and whomsoever Allah leaves astray, no one can show him guidance. We all bear witness that there is no God who is worthy of worship but Allah, and we bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is His last messenger. Well, on the 8th day of the month of Dhul Hijjah, this is where and when the actual activities of the Hajj begin. This day is also known as Yawm Tarwiyah. The scholars trace the origin of that name to either this is the day on which the Imam would narrate from riwayah to the pilgrims the ceremonies of Hajj and how to perform Hajj and so forth, and that's why it was called Yawm Tarwiyah, or to another origin where on that day the water bearers would give water to people to drink and so on, from Rawiyul Ma, and it's also known as Yawm Tarwiyah because of that. On other case, on Yawm Tarwiyah, people who came to Mecca with the intention of performing Umrah and Hajj, Umrah to Tamattu, and they have already exited from the state of Ihram, and they have been enjoying a Tahallul for some time, now on that day they're going to renew their intention and assuming a new intention to commence on Ihram, but this time to commence on Ihram for Hajj by saying لبيك اللهم حجا لا رياء فيه ولا سمعة. Here, O Allah, we come to you to perform Hajj without showing off, sincerely to you. Of course, a person who came with the intention of doing Hajjul Quran is already in a state of Ihram, so there is no need to renew the intention. Similarly, a person who came only to perform Hajj from the very beginning.
Sheikh, I want to ask a question here that comes up with this issue of declaring intention. You've talked a lot about when certain pillars of Hajj are not fulfilled, that it invalidates the Hajj.
Correct.
What about somebody who makes the sincere intention, but something happens and they're not able to complete the Hajj? Is this excused, or is there some way that they can secure that they're not violating any rules?
I'm glad you brought up this issue. As a matter of fact, I personally have seen somebody who went for Hajj 3 times, 3 consecutive times. On each time he wasn't able to perform Hajj. Somehow that he would get sick before the day of Arafah, and they would have to fly him back. 3 years. It's amazing. So just having the tickets and the visa in your pocket doesn't really mean that you're going for Hajj, or even by being in Mecca, it doesn't mean that you would definitely do Hajj. And that's why, since we don't know the knowledge of the unseen, if one is afraid of being sick, especially with chronic illnesses and so on, it's recommended for them to say what the Prophet ﷺ advised one of his companions with. The hadith is related to a woman by the name Duba'a bint Zubayr. The Prophet ﷺ asked her that whether she was planning to go for Hajj or not. She said, Ya Rasulullah, I am sick and I'm afraid that I will not be able to do it. So the Prophet ﷺ advised her to go for Hajj and to put a condition. He said, Hujji washtarati, meaning go for Hajj and put a condition by saying at the time of making the intention of Ihram, وَمَحِلِّ حَيْثُ حَبَسْتَنِي. The word mahilli refers to the state of tahallul. حَيْثُ حَبَسْتَنِي is wherever you restrain me by anything that's out of my control, by getting sick, by not being able to finish the ceremonies of Hajj. In this case, if a person put that condition at the time of assuming the intention of Ihram, then something happened. He or she were not able to complete Hajj. They will be off the state of Ihram without owing any penalty and without need to complete the rites of Hajj.
Sheikh, going back to this 8th day, what exactly are the procedures for one who's beginning this process or this step of Hajj?
Well, if you're already in Mecca on the 8th day, we said that if you're making Hajj-19, this is the day that you're going to make a new intention for the performance of Hajj by saying لبيك اللهم حجا لا رياء فيه ولا سمعة. If you had already made an intention for Hajj al-Ifrad a while ago or Hajj al-Quran, you don't need to make a new intention. On that morning, on the 8th day of Dhul Hijjah, you pray Fajr in Mecca. Then after assuming the intention of Ihram, you would move to Mina. Mina is not far away from Mecca, but this is an area which is just tents there. No hotels, no luxury. Everybody would sleep on the floor, perhaps carpets, live in tents. Everybody would be equal, would feel that we're all the same before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is one of the great meanings of Hajj, to make us all feel the same and equal to one another. We'll get to pray our regular prayers in Mina as follows: Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha during the regular times. But the only difference is that we're going to shorten the 4 rak'ah prayers. So Dhuhr, Asr and Isha, we're going to pray them 2 rak'ah each instead of 4. Maghrib and Isha will be offered as regular. This was the practice of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, even though Mina is very close to Mecca, but we're following strictly the footsteps and the guidelines of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, since he said, خُذُوا عَنِّي مَنَاسِكَكُمْ. We're going to spend the night there in Mina, outdoor life, very lovely. You feel that you are disassociating yourself from any worldly luxury, from any worldly interest, just focusing on one thing. منها خلقناكم وفيها نعيدكم ومنها نخرجكم تارة أخرى. This ground and earth around you, from that you're created, and into it you're going to be returned, and from it Allah is going to resurrect you once again. Humble yourself, feel tranquility while you are in those blessed moments in Mina.
What kind of activities should we occupy ourselves with throughout this time? Because it seems like, obviously, from what you say, a time of a lot of reflection. But what else can we do?
Unfortunately, for many people, it's a good opportunity to chit-chat and talk about others, sometimes backbiting, get to know other people, and so on. What's best is to keep your tongue busy with the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you have any question concerning the upcoming events, go ahead and ask a learned person. If not, then recite the Quran, just remember Allah the Almighty, do anything that's useful, and try to occupy yourself especially with the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and avoid any side conversation that would divert you from the main purpose of this journey. You spend the night in Mina, you rest and you prepare yourself for the big day. The big day is the 9th day of the month of Dhul Hijjah. This is the most important day, not only in Hajj, but in life in general. This is the day of Arafah. This is the day in which the Prophet ﷺ said, Al-Hajj Arafah. Hajj is all about Arafah. That the main and the most important pillar of Hajj is to stand at the valley of Arafah on the day of Arafah, which is the 9th day of Dhul Hijjah. how to move and when